Django Fett on the job.
Hey guys, I'm Django Fett, and welcome to the first ever GroovyAwesomeFett Podcast series. So in this series, we are going to be talking about our three favorite movies of all time. And so today I'm joined with Groovy Historian and Captain Awesome. So I'll let these guys introduce themselves. First off, Groovy.
Hello everyone, I'm the Groovy Historian and I'm a specialist in history, but I like to cross so many other topics, guys.
Great historian, YouTuber. Guys, please check out his channel. Captain Awesome?
Okay, guys, I'm Captain Awesome. I'm really heavily into the comic book entertainment genre on my YouTube channel. I also tend to do a lot of collaborations with my YouTube team, The Awesome Universe, that is Groovy Historian is part of. And yeah, I'm also a massive fan of movies, as you can tell. I'm into the entertainment genre, so there you go.
And yeah, this guy is top notch when it comes to comic book news. He's always on top of it and always posts on the Crosswords of the Omniverse Facebook group. So I'll put a link down below in the description. That is an awesome Facebook group where we just talk about movies, comics, TV shows, pretty much everything. So if you want to join, you're more than welcome to join. So now we could talk about our three favorite movies. We'll go one by one, and I'll go first. So my number one favorite movie of all time, it has to be Return of the King. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. So the reason I love this movie so much, the characters, the story, I think it's one of the most perfect movies of all time, but that's just my personal opinion. And I'm a big battle enthusiast as well. So seeing that battle, the battle for Middle Earth at the end, it was so intense. And like I said before, the characters were just well developed and just great overall. I loved them all. And it's just one of my favorite movies of all time. I just love it so much. Groovy?
Alright, one of my favourite movies of all time is the classic Cleopatra 1963 movie, a cult classic by Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, Rex Harrison and Roddy McDowley. The reason why I like this, because it covers lots of various impure ambitions of Rome and past classical situated. And as well, it kind of showed the glamorization of movies industry of height of what their point they were. So in a way of the proper fun, classical Hollywood big budget movies that are discovered and very good, famous, reviews. So that's one of them, guys.
Interesting choice. I like that. Captain, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, guys, one of my three is Gladiator, that happened in 2000, a historic ancient Rome movie. Stars Russell Crowe, and for me it's one of my favorites of all time. I think this was actually the first historic movie I'd ever actually watched, and to be honest, the story is just so epic and everything, but it's also so incredibly sad because Maximus, a great general and everything, gets pretty much betrayed because of his loyalty to the older emperor, and then he loses his family because they get killed and everything, and it's like a revenge, brilliant, epic story and everything, and it basically shows how he basically, helps, he saves the future of Rome and stuff, and it's just so epic, and it's one of my favorite films of all time, so there you go.
And it has to be Russell Crowe's best film, in my opinion. I think that's his best. That's just a great overall film. So my number two is Red Cliff. So this is, the best way to describe it is an Asian version of Return of the King. It has an immense big battle at the end, as well as in the end of the first film. But it overall is just the characters, the story, everything about it. And I'm a huge Chinese history fan. So watching that was just like a dream come true. That was just an amazing thing to see. Plus, I'm a Dynasty Warriors fan, so that's how much I'm so embedded with all these characters that were seen and filmed in this movie. I just love this movie to death. I can see this over and over again without being bored. So, Groovy.
Well, my second choice, The Godfather, cult classic in 1972 by the famous Francis Ford Capello with Al Pacino and Marlon Brando. Rest in peace. Reason why I like this, because the family was in trouble. The father got shot, so he shows the orientated, and how the gangster and Loconosta developed over time, and as well the proper focus of the action, the killing, the mastermind of being a criminal lord, and how it is developed into rich material, and as well breaking many records of earnings of that time. So basically, one of the greatest gangster movies ever. Yeah.
Captain, why don't you go ahead, man?
Okay, my second one out of one of my favorite movies of all time. It is Scarface. That was happened in 1983. One of the most incredible, great mafia gangster movies of all time. And obviously, many people debate which was Al Pacino's greatest role. Was it this or was it The Godfather? Both incredible roles. I think this one is my favorite, obviously, because this is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I think it was incredible to see, someone like Tony Montana, who pretty much in the beginning was like nothing, pretty much, and then he came to America and he basically just, he came to power and everything. He made friends with some of the biggest trade drug gangsters in the world. And then he just rose to power. But then at the end of it, it's kind of a sad story because eventually he just, he had it all and then he loses it all and everything. And it just shows, it was just one of those incredible stories and everything. And that's why I'm totally obviously against that, reboot potential movie happening because, we saw what happened with some cult classics that had sequels or reboots. They got ruined. So I definitely hope that. But this is probably my favorite Al Pacino role ever, performance ever.
My number 3 is Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Another just great ending to the Star Wars original trilogy. Just in my opinion, I think Return of the King is better, but I'm not saying Return of the Jedi is bad in any way. I think it was just a great overall ending towards the original trilogy. Just a kick-ass battle at the end. Han Solo, Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker, Leia, all these characters that you remember just in this just awesome ending. And seeing Darth Vader at the end, just redemption in a way against the Emperor, and just being close with his son again. That was just his son just saving him from the light side. That was from the dark side, I should say. And that was just an awesome way to go. So, Groovy, why don't you go ahead?
Now you're going to be blown by what movie I'm going to pick now. 2001 is Space Odyssey. 1968, a cult classic. Sci-fi edition. Directed by Stack Kirby. Reason being I truly picked this movie because it covers human evolution, technology, artificial intelligence, and where other types of history like historical culture and aesthetics. Because the reason being you've seen the development of the, gorillas to that came to mankind and evolution, and you really do see the really hard works of how they used it. It's not much speaking, so I say about a third of speaking narrative in the movie, and it's really well done when you see into the future as well, how far they developed in this movie its time, and it's kind of been groundbreaking in today's film industry and look back as a legacy of some of the greatest works ever in the sci-fi industry, guys. Yeah.
Captain.
Okay, the third one, pretty much, my third choice and everything, is the 1994 comic book movie directed by Alex Proyas. Yes, it is The Crow and everything. One of the first few actual comic book movies, because, some were the Michael Keaton Batman movies and Reeves Superman movies, but also at the same time there was The Crow. And the thing about it is, as we all know, this movie is very, very famous and very a cult classic. It was a brilliant film, obviously, about a guy, it was revenge driven as him on his, right the night before his wedding night, him and his fiance and everything were killed by this gang and everything. She was raped and beaten and killed. And he was thrown out a window. And then a year later, pretty much, he came back to life and he got revenge on all of them. And in a way also made the city better as well at the same time, but also avenged his girlfriend's death and their deaths. So epic, but at the same time, that's not just about this. It's also about how, obviously, because we all know that, the son of Bruce Lee and our friend Brandon Lee, great actor and two great actors, legends, and he was killed during the filming and everything. And a stunt double had to film the last few scenes and everything. Like, the transformation scene and the scene at the end with the grave. That's actually by the stunt double, just to let people know. That's a reason why they don't actually show his face too much, because they CGI'd it when they did. But it's just incredible, and obviously that's why I think I'm so emotionally, and many others around the world are so emotionally connected to this movie and everything because it's just, it's just a legendary way, legendary final film for, for someone who should have actually been in many movies before that, but sadly,
Absolutely.
yeah, great actor, and it will always be really close to my heart, The Crow. I love it. So,
Yeah, same with me. I can watch that over and over again and never get
yeah,
bored. That's just a great classic.
it is a cult classic, man.
Oh
Brilliant.
man,
Touching words,
Yeah.
respect.
Respect. Rest in peace, Brandon Lee and Bruce Lee as well. And
R.I.P. Yes.
Django, just to say one thing, you know how you said Return of the Jedi? Yeah, that's my favorite Star Wars. In the classic trilogy, that was actually my favorite movie too, by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah, I really loved that film a lot.
So we do a little bonus movie as well. Might as well to stir it up something quite fun.
Well, add one more in there.
Yeah, might as well throw it in. Might as well on the
Okay,
top.
Django, you can or Groovy, you can pick one as it was your
I,
idea. So
I've got one anyway. Into the Vampire in
Hmm.
1995 with famous actors Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. The reason why I picked this because it's a vampire tells story of love, betrayal, loneliness, and hunger. So the guy got converted to a vampire, as you know, Tom Cruise, and his family was taken away from him. So a lonely story in a way, and it was one of the most famous movies at that time, and as well one of the best supernatural vampire movies because it's well written, well played, way set it, and it's the way it was shooted. It was quite deep and really great movie to be fair. Yeah.
Go ahead, Django. You can go next.
I got another Tom Cruise movie, The Last Samurai.
Oh my God.
I love that movie to death. So The Last Samurai is pretty much well, he's a man who is torn up after pretty much a massacre that occurs in a Native American village, and he was a part of that. And he's pretty much distraught. He's just down on his luck, pretty much. He's a destroyed man. So he gets sent to Japan to train the soldiers there. But eventually he gets captured by the samurai, and they teach him along their ways. And it does seem unrealistic that it's the fact that it's only been like a year or a couple of years that he's just learned to become a samurai. But you gotta take it for what it is. I think it's just an all-around emotionally invested movie with just an incredible soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. A really great soundtrack. And one of the films, the U.S. films based around Japanese culture, that is just, I think it's the best. The best that is based around the Japanese culture. Plus, there was an amazing battle. I love battles. I'm a battle enthusiast, so seeing that was just awesome and just a sad ending. I'll just say that. So, yeah, The Last Samurai for me. Captain.
Okay, the bonus movie, I'm gonna put it in, and it happened in 2008. It is indeed one of the greatest comic movie ever, and it is, it had twists and turns. It was dark. It had an incredible ending. The villains were great. Also, for me, the greatest and one of the greatest performances ever in history by Heath Ledger. I'm gonna go with The Dark Knight. Just
Yeah.
one of my favorite comic movies ever, but a movie in general as all. I could watch that all the time. And Heath Ledger, some of the things he did in that movie was just, it was just brilliant. Just no other actor, I couldn't even imagine any other actor pulling that off, apart from him, the way he did it and everything. And rest in peace as well. Another performance that was just brilliant and everything. So that's my bonus one.
Yeah, I mean, what if this guy actually was still alive at that time, too? And he could have been in the third film. And maybe him and maybe the Riddler or even Bane could have teamed up and fought against Batman. That would have just been an awesome finale.
Christopher Nolan actually in an interview, Django, actually did say if Heath was actually still alive, that it would have been Joker and Bane for the villains in the final movie. But sadly, it was Bane and Talia instead. So yeah.
All right then, guys.
All right,
So we'll just
cool.
say a few thoughts of each other's movies.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Groovy. You can do it first.
Well, I like The Crow because it's one of the most famous comic book movies, and it was kind of mind blown of its time, and the story was very deep in itself. Scarface,
I
as you
agree.
know, one of my favorite movies. Very humor, gangster movie with such a violent but yet something quite funny about it. An epic line, say hello to my little friend. And Batman, who wouldn't you say? It's probably one of the best trilogies ever.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best movies, and as well. One of the best Jokers of all time.
Yep.
Now, Django's movies, quite interesting pick. Lord of the Rings, epic blockbuster movie, and I like that Celtic Norse mythology, so that's quite interesting of how the war was set out. Redcliffe, not seen it, but I'm going to check it out. It's a very epic historical tale. And The Last Summer, I'm not going to lie, that's pretty topic movie because of imperialism and empires and crushing each other's soul, and it was quite, emotionally intact. So, good choice of movies, guys.
Thanks.
All right, go ahead, Django. You can go next.
Okay, so Crow, yeah, I agree with everything that Groovy said about The Crow. I mean, that's just a classic masterpiece. Brandon Lee just did an excellent job as the sort of anti-hero in a way.
Yeah.
Just getting his revenge. And just seeing that in action and seeing him take the revenge, you just felt like you were just on his side completely. No matter if he was killing them or not, you were just completely on his side. He did an excellent job as the hero. The Crow was just an excellent film. I could watch that over and over again. Just love it to death. Scarface, just another great, awesome, classic. And it's really hard to say what Al Pacino's best film was because he's been a part of a lot of great films. You could choose any. You could choose Scarface, Godfather, Godfather 2. He's just been a part of so many great films that you can't really pick one defining film that he's just like, he's the greatest one. That's the greatest one he's been a part of.
Do you know what? Can I just make a point quickly, please? You know what? Do you want to know why that is? It's because in all these movies, he continued to top himself and get better as an actor.
Yeah.
That's why he's so great. And go ahead, Groovy.
He's really known for like Godfather and Scarface and Donnie Brasco and Carlito's Way of all these other great movies. That was his best era. Even though he's still a great actor, but it was like a 20 years of great occult classics that he was in.
That's why he's such an icon, so yeah.
Yeah.
And, Godfather with just like the great trilogy that occurred. Yeah, just happened in the 70s and 80s. That was just a great trilogy. One of the greatest trilogies of all time. The first one was definitely my favorite. The third was just, oh my goodness, what a sad ending. Sad ending. I'm not going to spoil it, but wow. Incredible ending. But I love the Godfather movies. Love them all. Batman Dark Knight, truly one of the greatest comic book films, if not the best comic book film of all time. Just Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker was truly the best, and I doubt even Jared Leto or anybody else could even top that. That was just incredible, psychotic, dark take on the Joker, and it truly frightened me, but I loved it at the same time. Just an incredible film. Christopher Nolan's truly just best film overall. And the other films, I can't say I've seen Space Odyssey, but I've heard great things about it. It's like one of the best sci-fi films, and it's a very very unique film, I should say. So
very controversial.
All right. Yeah, sorry, I was just muted. Okay, I'm going to talk about the movies and everything that you guys talked about and everything. Okay, Godfather, yeah, that's just, oh my god. That, when I was growing up as a kid, that got me into, that and Scarface got me into fucking gangster movies. Fucking legendary. Cleopatra, yeah, that was actually a movie that my family made me watch one time. It was really long, but it was actually worth it. Pretty epic and everything. The Interview with the Vampire, oh my god, I just, wasn't that Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise?
Yeah. Well,
very good dark movie. Oh my god, that was amazing. That was when vampires were badasses. But anyway, moving away from that one. Return of the Jedi, yeah, my favorite in the classic trilogy so far. We'll see how the new movies do, but definitely that's my favorite of all time. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, right, Django?
Yes.
Yeah, oh my god. I'm obviously I love the entire first trilogy of Lord of the Rings, and I will say that Two Towers is actually my favorite, but Return of the King, oh my god, just absolutely one of the greatest films ever made, and masterpiece. And also you said The Last Samurai, right, as well? Yeah, The Last Samurai is one of those. It's a very very epic, unique movie. very, very, very incredible the way they did it. As you said, the soundtrack by Hans Zimmer was epic, and it's just another one that's just, definitely deep, will always be in my heart and everything. And yeah, this great movies and everything. I had a really good time doing this. So yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Pretty groovy, eh? But
Yeah.
also, in a way, yeah.
Groovy yet awesome. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So this just about wraps it up. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Anything else to say?
Okay,
What?
Groovy, you go first.
All these movies are legendary, and there's always epic movies. This is only a select few I've got, because I've got top 100 movies that I love. So, guys, there's always epic movies out there.
Yeah, this was just
Alright.
our personal
Yeah.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, guys, if you don't agree, or agree that these are the greatest movies ever, or our personal choices, that's cool. And more power to you and everything. Everyone's got their own opinions. And
Yeah,
stuff.
if you want to, leave your list of top 3 or 4, put it in the comments. We're
Yeah.
really interested to check them out.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do. Yeah,
Indeed.
so guys, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, Django Fett, as well as these guys right here, Groovy Historian and Captain Awesome. Great guys, and thank you guys for joining me. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, dude.
No worries.
Anytime, and we can't do more in the future. Can't wait to do more.
Absolutely. We'll be doing plenty of videos, and we might be doing the next one at Captain Awesome's channel. So please be sure to check out his channel. And the next and then after that, we're going to do another podcast at Groovy Historian. So subscribe to both of these guys so you can keep track of the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
So links in the description. Subscribe, guys.
Yeah.
And guys, by the way, if you want to follow me on Twitter, Captain Austin I3, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, Captain Austin I3 Groovy, tell them where else they can find you.
Check out my Twitter, Groovy Historian. Check out my site, officialgroovyhistorian.com, guys. And my iTunes and Instagram is the same as Groovy Historian, guys.
And Django, you can finish it off by telling them where they can find you and stuff.
You can find me on Twitter at _Django_Fett, Facebook, Awesome Zakai. I'll put all the links down below in the description, as well as these guys, Captain Awesome and Groovy Historian. And once again, thank you guys for joining me. Really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
Indeed. And thank you, Django Fett, for hosting this, and the first of many.
Yes.
Yep.
First of many. So we'll just end it right here, and we'll see you guys next time.
All right,
Stay
bye.
groovy.